Welcome back to KlineStudios Art Lesson 8B. Now we're going to finish the still life we had started in the first lesson. Everything's been placed, and now we're going to take the large vase in the front is the closest one to us. Because remember, everything gets lighter as it goes back. So I'm going to go over the large vase with light lines again, the entire thing until it's slightly darker than the other two vases, which are set back in almost the same place. So again, we start with my oval, light lines, just go around until it's slightly darker, stop, we can go on the sides, back and forth, slightly darker, sitting in front, the other two objects. And then the oval at the bottom, until they all match. Get a little wonky here. Too many light lines missed each other. Okay, so that larger vase is slightly darker than the other two vases. Alright, now I'm going to start with the lighter vases and start changing. I want to leave them light, as they are, but I want to start changing the way of the line, because the fronts of them are slightly darker. But keep in mind, even the fronts of these are not as dark as the back of the one in the front. So there's not much to do. You rock back and forth and get shorter and shorter until it matches, just about matches the back of the large vase. The sides are a medium tone, so they're not going to get very dark. Once they show up there, medium tone, I'm going to stop. Okay? So that small vase is actually finished. This one is set back just a little bit further than the one I just did. But if it ends up looking about the same as this one, that's fine. But keeping that in mind, I'm not going to make the very front quite as dark as this one. Ovals, remember to rock back and forth until you stop in the middle, and the side has to get slightly darker, a medium tone there, and then stop. So those two small vases are actually finished. Now I have to change the wheel line of the large one. Take that oval, rock back and forth, and then stop toward the middle. You have to do it a couple of times because again it's lighter lines, top of each other, and stop. Now I'm going to jump down to the bottom oval and do the same thing. So the bottom of that bottom oval, that's the closest to you, matches the oval at the top. Now it is a smaller oval than this oval, so it's not necessarily going to be as dark toward the front as this one. This is actually, this edge here is the closest to you in the entire still life. So I'm going to go over that again and make that get even darker to the front. Stop. And now I'm going to do the sides. They're going to be a medium tone that is darker and the sides of the other two objects that are set further back, but it's not going to take much because remember we already darkened it to show that it was in the front. There's a little bump under the easel that I'm using here, so got a little wonky there, and I'll just fix that up. Okay? Now remember with the other objects that we did in the beginning, the centers here don't look three-dimensional. If I cover this up, it becomes flat again. And this is a very large object. So I'm going to put another oval in the middle of this to show that it's a cylindrical shape all the way down. I'm going to go around and around until the entire oval matches the gray tone here in the back of the vase. Once the entire thing matches that, then I'm going to rock back and forth like I did with the other two ovals until it gets dark and to make it match. Also keep in mind that it's curving in and out toward you. So this oval is going to end up getting the darkest toward the bottom than even the top here, because now we're showing that it's curving out toward us. So I'm going to have to go over this a few times. Until it is completely dark. Alright? And that pushes it forward. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these two vases, because the same rules apply. Around and around the circle until it matches the back of this one, and this one does. So I stop and then I rock back and forth. And again, it's going to end up slightly darker at the bottom of this oval than the other two ovals on the same vase, because it's curving toward us. Once I accomplish that, I stop, and now I'm going to do the same thing with my final vase. Around and around till the top of this oval matches the shade of the back or top of that oval. Once it does, rock back and forth and slowly to the middle. And the reason we get shorter and shorter is because we want it to gradually go from light to dark. If I didn't get shorter and shorter, it would look like a big smiley face. And I'd be forced to draw eyes and a nose on it. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it a vase. Once that shows up, I stop. Now I can take a look at my three objects. If anything looks a little off, say, I can go ahead and fix it. Maybe it needs to be slightly darker there. Now I'm looking at maybe this isn't quite dark enough compared to, say, this one in the middle. So I'm going to go over this one just one more time. Really bring that darkness out. There. So there's an analytical line drawing of three vases, and the only thing missing is a separation between the table and the wall, called the table line. And like our other still lifes, the single still life vase, you want to make sure it's above the bottom oval of the vase that is set furthest back. Otherwise they'll fall off the table or be floating. This one's set furthest back, because this oval is slightly higher than this oval. So I'm going to go above that, because again it's curving out and to the front, so it would hit the wall, can't be against the wall flat. So I can't do the table line right at the top of this bottom oval. I have to set it back further. So I'm going to pick a spot, any spot, and set back, and draw a line back and forth, separate the table from the wall, and keep it light because it's actually the lightest line on the entire picture. And there's our first three object analytical line still life drawing. Okay, well I hope to see you at lesson 9. Bye-bye.